What's up, everyone? Welcome to another live stream. Sorry we missed you guys. Last week we were in Dubai, but my name is Toby,
I'm Heidi.
and I'm going to get right into a couple news things before we get into the main stuff. Okay, so you've seen what's happened in the last couple weeks. Now we have the Bank of England deputy governor saying that the UK might need to a digital pound following the FTX collapse. Yes, we've been saying this for a very long time that this is what's going to be used. As you know, you have the scapegoat here, which is FTX.
You know, that played a big role in the economy of the UK, so that definitely makes sense.
Yeah. On a brighter note,
It's ridiculous.
gosh, man. Yeah, these guys really want their CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. If you don't know what that is, you can check out some prior videos what we've done on CBDCs. It's very important. It's actually much, much, much bigger news than any of this FTX stuff. It's a tiny little bump in the road, the FTX stuff, compared to CBDCs. It's literally
Yeah.
nothing.
If you thought fiat currency was bad,
Oh.
just wait.
Yeah, you got another thing coming. All right, so we also have the most aggressive miner selling in almost 8 years. It's up 400% in just 3 weeks. Why do I not care? Okay, the reason why I brought that up is because a lot of people are asking questions about that. Like, oh my gosh, the miners are capitulating. Who cares? Like, you saw what happened with China a couple years ago. You had China literally banned Bitcoin mining, and miners, 55% of the miners fell off the planet. And then Decentralized. That's amazing. So you know what? If these miners can't make a profit in this market, whatever. See you later. Other miners will take that place.
Yeah, the hash rate will drop.
Exactly.
And it'll make it easier for smaller enterprises to, mine coins, make a profit, and be the next big miners on the game.
Exactly. So exciting times. I'm very happy about that. All right. Last week, Fed Collins said another 75 basis points could be ahead. So they're going to keep raising interest rates, right? The Fed fund rate, right? But inflation keeps rising for some reason. So doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results is what the definition of insanity.
Insanity.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not going to matter. What I think what right now is going to happen is the Fed is just going to keep raising interest rates. If they do that, which is hardly raising interest rates, 4%, 5%, who cares? Inflation's way over 8%. It doesn't matter. It's not going to help inflation, and it's just going to keep Americans are going to keep getting hurt, and especially the global economy is especially going to keep getting hurt. Speaking of getting hurt, Americans' personal savings has plummeted to $629 billion in Q2 of this year, all right? Keep in mind that last year in Q2, they had 1.98 trillion. So last year they had almost 2 trillion. Now they have 629 billion. Americans are getting much poorer, and inflation is going to keep rising. Don't listen to these people that say inflation has peaked. They don't know what they're talking about. The Federal Reserve is continually printing more and more currency, and you'll see that happening with your groceries and everything else. Because keep in mind, the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, does not include food or fuel. So whenever you hear inflation is 8%, it's not including food or fuel. Bet you didn't learn that in school. All right, so next up, Joe Biden leads critical game-changing global Bitcoin and crypto rules after the FTX collapse. Of course, government's going to step in and save the day. Okay, lastly, people are removing Bitcoin from exchanges, okay? That is really good. I think hardware wallets have been up 300% in a couple weeks, which is amazing. So good. Get those stupid coins off exchanges. Or I should say, get those coins off stupid exchanges. That's it. All right.
Yeah. I mean, I did read somewhere that the movement of Bitcoin off of exchanges, I think mostly are going to self-custody, but also a lot of coins are moving to Binance. So this fall of FTX, the third largest crypto exchange, it's a wide open door for a huge market share for Binance to scoop up. And it's the next, I mean, it's absolutely the most centralized player for people who are storing, trading, interacting with cryptocurrencies, at least on a beginner level. Binance is right there. They have Binance US, Binance UK, Binance for any country that has special regulation. They're trying to be everywhere for everyone and have everything that you could possibly want in crypto. But it is a centralized exchange. I know CZ is trying to be a trailblazer and doing this whole proof of funds, and he's trying to lay out the groundwork for what makes a secure centralized exchange. That is an oxymoron always, because like Vitalik Buterin said today, or was it yesterday, very recently, he said, as always, the problem isn't with the tech, it's with the people. And whenever you have a centralized, trusted third party, or, maybe he's not trustworthy, but you are trusting them, there's room for greed. There's room for you to be taken advantage of. So never, ever forget that. You might think it's hard to forget that today for these past 2 weeks, but just wait for like 6 months to pass by, and some people are definitely going to be having amnesia. I mean, everything that the video I posted yesterday, I was getting some comments of people saying how they were very skeptical that Grayscale would go down. There's people just don't want to admit that what they are already trusting could be failing or could be doing them wrong because they're personally involved. And there's a lot of denial that happens. But always have a healthy dose of skepticism either way. I think it's good. Hi, everyone in the live chat.
Well, we probably have a lot of new people in here. So welcome to the channel. We've been doing this since 2016. Yeah. And it's been a lot of fun seeing this the rise over the last couple years. So it's been really good. We've been trying to keep up with news since 2016, 17, and until now. So it's been a fun journey. There's been some up and downs for sure, but we've gotten kind of used to scams and stuff, and now we really are hyper paranoid, and that is why we called out, or Heidi called out Sam Bankman-Fried 2 weeks before it collapsed. And if you don't know, we run a CT, what you call a CT club down below, if you want to check out the link.
In the video description.
We told our CT club members, hey, get out of FTT and take all your coins off right before it collapsed, or a couple of days before it collapsed. So very thankful for that. I'm sure a lot of you people are thankful as well.
Yeah. So, hey, everyone. We're going to go through some of your questions. Maybe I think we're going to be focusing more on, because there's, as always, if you guys haven't noticed, news on the fallout from FTX. So we have a lot to cover because a lot has happened even since yesterday, especially with Genesis and Grayscale and Digital Currency Group. So we're going to talk about that. And then if we have time, we're going to get to some of your questions. If you do have a question, maybe towards the end of the live stream, like around 20 minutes from now or 15 minutes from now, go ahead and start saying your questions, doing all caps. You can also do a super chat, which gives us a tip, and it highlights your comment, sends it right to the front. Definitely gets our attention, and we'll say whatever you're saying in your comment, basically. Okay.
First off, thanks to our moderators,
yes,
Twin
Wolf and Archer. You guys are
amazing. Dave D, good to see you, buddy.
Yeah,
Brad, good to see you. Okay, let's get into this.
Yeah. Okay. So, let me switch this over because we're fancy now. We do this. Zach XBT, he's been calling out a lot of things that needed to be brought to light in crypto space. Like what happened with Crypto Lark, how he was, maybe pumping and dumping. I mean, that's classic. A lot of people do that. But now he's saying how these are some of the misconceptions of what's been happening or being reported on by a lot of people. And the first one, what I really want to focus on here is how he's saying that the Bahamian government officials are not behind the FTX hack. Just based on the movements of where the coins are going, it wouldn't be, basically government wouldn't be doing that if they were doing it to protect user funds or whatever for any kind of legal proceedings. So he's saying reports that the funds stolen from FTX were actually sent to the Securities Commission of the Bahamas are incorrect. Some funds were stolen. Other funds were sent to the regulators. So there's still a lot of confusion as to which coins were stolen and what's actually happening. But regardless, he's still dumping Ethereum. Actually, no, they're moving 15,000 Ethereum from across multiple different wallets. So I think they're just trying to get some confusion there. And yeah.
But they still have like 195,000 ETH to go. So, I mean, good buying opportunity in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, someone asked in the comments, when are we going to start exiting Ethereum? Because we seem to be souring on it lately.
No, I mean, I think that Ethereum will do fine after this. I mean, we've seen big things happen in this space. We've seen back in June, we saw all those lending platforms go bust. We saw, Celsius, we had UST, all that. And yeah, things kind of just went to the wayside. And then you had ETH going proof of stake, which like switching their chain, building on other chains. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can't deny that the major change in Ethereum is something to pay attention to because it's not the same as it always was.
Sure. Maybe not.
So, okay. Next up, we're going to talk about Chainalysis. I was going to do this as a video, but my mic was messing up yesterday and it was testing my patience. So I decided to save it for this live stream.
These guys are not your friend.
No. And I have not been a fan of Chainalysis since I remember January or February in 2019 when it came out that they had been data and selling it to the government for these multi-million dollar contracts. They were selling to government agencies because the government wants to know what people are doing with their crypto. Things that don't have to be reported, but Chainalysis and Coinbase were going ahead and facilitating basically a disrespect of their users' privacy. So anyone who's a big fan of Brian Armstrong, don't forget that.
Exactly.
So Chainalysis, again, it's like an on-chain analytics firm. They track coins that come from here to there, coins that have come from wallets on exchanges from people who have gone through the know your customer, the identification process, basically. So then they can link the actions of your coins if they want to. If there's someone hiring them to track you, they could be hired to do that.
The IRS is using them too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The IRS, the military, there's all these really kind of ridiculous agencies that were really interested. And Coinbase isn't the only one who's doing this, by the way. So anyway, Chainalysis, this company that was designed to track and trace cryptocurrencies, has invested in FTX. They are a creditor of FTX and they were listed in their bankruptcy case. They failed to identify the misuse of users' funds, the movement of those funds on chain from the wallets of FTX to the wallets of Alameda Research to wherever else they're being sent to. And how did they miss it? If they're such a good company, how do they miss it? Oh yeah, it's because FTX didn't pay them to do that, obviously. So again, a lot of people think these Chainalysis and whatever are going to be good for regulating, bring clarity to what's happening and, get all the bad guys in crypto. But it's the same story always. The people who have power, the regulators are just there to serve whoever is paying them, period. They're not altruistic. They're not doing it to protect the consumer. They could care less about the consumer. They want to know who's going to pay them the most.
I mean, they're pretty much, regulators are owned by Wall Street. Let's get that clear. We have a cat on the...
Classic.
Jeez. All right, can you get out of here? Okay. So Wall Street owns these guys, right? Or they are Wall Street. Yeah. So all you have to look back is remember 2007, 2008, where they paid off the credit agencies. Yes. So it's all a game. So if you're not playing or part of that game, then whatever. So that you're meaningless essentially. So they don't like crypto because They can't own the game, right? And so this is same as Wall Street or whatever. So that's what's happening right now, and you're going to see more and more of that.
Yeah. So, okay, next topic that we're talking about, D-Day looms for Bitcoin. Okay. Are DCG and Genesis going bankrupt? So I've been talking about DCG, the digital currency group, for several times now. Cat's getting into some mischief. And basically how they're the big parent company of a lot of big companies in crypto. Oh, kitty cat.
Say bye-bye.
She's gonna, okay. Okay, so basically what's happening is very kind of similar to what happened to FTX and Alameda Research in that, they have their Alameda Research and FTX were sister companies. DCG is a parent company of Genesis. So DCG had lent Genesis like $1 billion at least, and now they need to cover those funds. So they're asking basically for a $1 billion investment by whoever is interested. Not too many people are interested. So what does that mean? This is a very big deal because, for centralized platforms, of course, this isn't going to affect Bitcoin or the way that code works or how wallets work or how the network is performing whatsoever, just so we're clear. But Genesis is a huge custodian platform for institutional investors. And their connection with Grayscale, they're like one of the largest holders of GBTC. And for those of you who don't think that GBTC can be dissolved, it can, because also Grayscale as well. And they dissolved it when the Ripple lawsuit was opened against them from the SEC. So they can absolutely make changes to it if need be, if that's what they decide. But so basically, if DCG doesn't get this $1 billion loan or, cash flow into their systems, I think by today, which, it's
Today, yeah.
It's a deadline, they're going to have to probably sell off some of their portfolio, some of the businesses that they have. They have over 134 companies that, they own or they've invested in some level or another. So if you guys want to know, here's some that might be getting your attention. For example, BitGo, BitPay, Bitwala, Blockstack, Blockstream, Brave Browser, Chainalysis, interesting, Circle, Civic, remember Civic, Coinbase, CoinDesk, CoinFlex, lots of coin one here. Let's see, Dapper Labs, Decentralized, Earn, let's see, Etherscan, eToro, FTX, that one's gone. But so the Grayscale and Genesis, of course. And there's a whole list. There's 134 of these companies. So I don't think that DCG is going to go down, but I think that their portfolio is going to have to be heavily reorganized. And maybe that's a good thing. DCG was launched by, what's his name?
Barry Silbert.
Thank you. Barry Silbert. He's like a Bitcoin OG, super early investor. And he turned his interest in crypto into kind of making a conglomerate of crypto companies.
He says this week's going to be a big week. or he usually says, if there's something like kind of bad going to happen, he says that it's going to be a big week.
Yeah.
So I don't think he said that. I think he's been pretty quiet now.
He's too busy to tweet right now. Again, this is shaking up a lot of the systems that have been created, supportive systems around cryptocurrency, how people access crypto. But you got to keep in mind, much like Celsius and the lending platforms going down, DeFi was unaffected because code functions as it's written. And this is just an amazing kind of reawakening of why crypto is really existing and how centralized implementation, centralized layers on top of that code or on top of that technology that, kind of lend the reputation of decentralized networks, but not actually offering that to their users. they're all going to fail at some point or be so heavily regulated that it's just more of the same. And that's exactly what this is. People saw crypto as a way, like a new page for them to just bring what they learned from old traditional finance and just layer it onto crypto. VCs are all over it too. But so it's what I've been preaching about on this channel for years, is that centralized bottlenecks are weaknesses and they will be weeded out eventually. And that's exactly what we're seeing. So what we're seeing right now is a flush out of all the ways that people have gone about building up crypto the wrong way. And those that are doing it as decentralized as possible or have that future outlook, for the good of just providing a freedom tool, they're going to keep going because they're not going to have the hindrance that these do. They don't have the messy greed available to them to a certain extent. Of course, there's scams everywhere, but I think generally this flush out is going to be really healthy for the group, for the crypto space. But also, do you have any thoughts on that? Sorry.
Yeah,
got a little ranty.
I think it's definitely really healthy for this space, especially getting rid of all this right now. And then, the people that are still holding, I mean, I'm not trying to put salt in a wound, but are the responsible ones that kept their coins on a hardware wallet or cold storage, didn't leave the majority of their wealth on a centralized exchange. Like, this is crazy. Like, come on, like that's just not good, and for instance, Heidi and I have been telling people for years now, please keep your coins on a hardware wallet. And Heidi even says, like, on her tweets that, hey, I don't mind shilling hardware wallets because that's the thing that's going to keep people safe. Other people like to shill coins and stuff all the time. We like to shill hardware wallets, which is great. Yeah. So hopefully people learn their lesson. People are not going to learn that lesson. I know
not everyone.
No, there's majority of people will not learn the lesson because the majority of people didn't learn their lesson when Celsius collapsed, when Anchor collapsed, when Luna collapsed. They did not learn the lesson. They went right back in there and kept their coins on lending platforms like what was it that we had it on BlockFi. So we had our coins on BlockFi about in June, and we took it off in June. We told all of our CT Club members, hey, we are not holding anything on BlockFi anymore because I am worried that they are insolvent. And lo and behold, 5 months later, thank God that we got our coins off. And I'm really glad you guys as well did. I hear lots of stories saying thank you for that. So yeah. I'm so thankful. Okay.
Real quick, we have a super chat from Mo. They say, would you consider a Q&A live stream with Maria? I would consider it. Thank you for that. Also, what's the cat's name?
Kitty cat.
Yeah.
We haven't named her.
So the cat is kind of like a neighborhood cat that we both became attached to each other. We all became attached to the cat. And so she's here now while we're here in Portugal. When we leave, our neighbors take care of her. So I haven't named her yet, but I call her Kit Kat. So there's that.
Okay.
So also I wanted to point out this article, I came across, titled FTX Illustrated Why Banks Need to Take Over Cryptocurrency. And I had to take a double take that this was indeed published on Cointelegraph. What the heck is going on at Cointelegraph, and who approved this article to be published?
Yang Lan.
The guy.
You are a fool, buddy.
He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Oh,
man, Yang Lan.
He's basically saying how, FTX is showing how, here's the quote that, like, I have to.
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear how regulations are going to save the space.
Okay. While it would be pertinent and sensical for any business which holds assets of a third party, such as centralized exchanges and lending platforms, to fall under the same level of scrutiny and guidelines as banks do, it might be even more beneficial if traditional banks take on the role of a trusted third party and offer crypto services to their clients directly, acting as a trusted intermediary. Their history over the centuries grants them a level of trust and security which could help consumers onboard and use crypto services with far more ease. They're not going to be using crypto services. They're using banking services.
Hold on. And trusted, and we need to trust them. Like when HSBC created different teller windows.
Custom size windows
for the Sinaloa cartel. I think that's what it was.
So they can
launder money to fit enough cash in there. And oh man, just type in gold, silver manipulation banks. That's all you need to know. Oh my gosh. They are getting sued all the time, ridiculous amounts, and banks are not transparent at all.
So if cryptocurrency exchanges have the same level of scrutiny and guidelines as traditional banks, they could probably get away with a lot of things, eh? And also, for those who have so much trust in the bank and for storing your funds, tell that to all the people who are recently doing bank runs around the world.
Yeah.
Storming the bank doors. So I had to do some research, right? And I just scrolled down a little bit more, and then it made sense. The author of this article, Yang Lan, is a CFA. Is the co-founder and chairman of Fiat 24. He named his company Fiat 24, like it's a good thing. The first Swiss bank built on blockchain. I don't know why they need a blockchain. They just don't need a private database. He holds a master's degree in economics from the University of Munich and an MBA from IE Business School. So he's very smart.
So the difference.
He's also, former UBS banker, and he holds decades of experience in banking and yet no experience in cryptocurrencies, and it shows.
So these are banks, all right? So the difference between a bank and why banks hate crypto is because that banks have a closed source network. You're not able to see the true balance sheet of a bank usually. Especially like central banks around the world. Like, have you ever seen the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve, the real balance sheet? Nah, you haven't. You haven't seen their private trading desk. You haven't seen their bond, their YCC or yield curve control, how they do that, how they inject liquidity in the bond market to stabilize bond markets. You haven't seen how much currency they're printing there as well. So yes, banks are very non-transparent, and crypto is very transparent. It is like if cryptocurrency. If you have a look at the blockchain, it's there for everybody to see. So yeah.
We had another super chat. Thank you from Fizbin. He says, "Are you guys worried that your hardware wallets will eventually become obsolete? Is it smart to restore your wallets to new hardware every few years?"
They update their wallets. So
for instance,
software updates. The hardware usually stays the same. But
the software doesn't update itself. You have to plug it in and connect to the system and update your software every couple months or something. I mean, hardware wallets are good for storage long term, but if you literally just want to buy a Bitcoin and hold it for like a decade, I think a paper wallet is much better than a hardware wallet, because a hardware wallet is much more for more activity going into and out of the wallet. It allows you to have the type of security as a paper wallet, yet the interoperability and usability, because paper wallets are a pain if you want to withdraw from it, basically.
You can never reuse a paper wallet. No. You should never reuse a paper wallet more than once.
Yeah. And it is true about hardware wallets. They do degrade over time. Sometimes the buttons don't work, and sometimes, it's not perfect. So yeah, probably every few years or so, you're going to have to make an upgrade, or just get a new wallet. But I'm not worried that they're going to be obsolete, because I have the seed phrase, and that is the key for your cryptocurrencies. That's why every time you set up a hardware wallet, I hope that whatever company you went with, they emphasize how important it is for you to keep that safe and separate from your actual device.
And if you do want a hardware wallet, we have the link below if you want to support this channel.
I'm getting some hardware wallets from other companies as well, outside of Ledger and Trezor, just to get more experience of other options. And I'm going to do some reviews, so keep an eye out for those who are interested.
What is a paper wallet? I think you can get it on, blockchain.info?
Yeah, basically a paper wallet is when you generate an encrypted private key and public key. You should do so offline, and you're given a very long sequence of characters, basically alphanumeric characters. Sometimes they give you a QR code too. You could do this for Bitcoin. You can do it for Ethereum. You should be able to do it for a lot of different cryptocurrencies. If you can't, that's kind of questionable about the development of that coin. But you can definitely do it for Bitcoin. Yeah. So you can just get your private key, generate it while your computer your
While the
computer
Wi-Fi
is offline. Yeah. And then write it down, or you can use tools like Crypto Steel. It's a really cool tool. It's like for long-term storage, it's like rust-proof, age-proof, waterproof, all that stuff. Okay. Yeah.
What hardware wallets are you personally using?
Personally, like mostly Ledger. Because they've integrated with a lot of different wallets, also like third-party wallets. So you can use DeFi, you can use other decentralized exchanges with them. Their Ledger Live application has a ton of integrations as well with other decentralized exchanges and swaps right within the app. So for me, Ledger is my go-to.
And also we use like multi-sig. So in case somebody tries to rob us or whatever, then they can't. Pretty much.
Or maybe we don't. We're not going to say how we store our crypto online.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So for those of you who are wondering, man, just every day is bad news, more bad news. Is crypto dead?
I love these articles. These are great.
No, guys, this is a sign of the bottom of the bear market. You have to, you get these tweets or you get people say, we need more blood. We need more panic. We need more fear. This is what they're talking about. They're talking about when it seems like the end is here for crypto, because it happens every cycle.
Let me say this. So back in March 2020, when the market absolutely took a nosedive and we went from like $6,000 to $3,700, something like that. It's because the world shut down. Governments around the world literally forced shut down the entire globe. That's why it fell that bad. And that's where people were literally panicking, selling everything they have. They didn't care about the price. They didn't want anything to do with Bitcoin or crypto or anything else except us and a few other people were like, we're buying. So
yeah. I actually just did an interview the other day, and I think it's published now on the YouTube channel called Show Me the Crypto. A good friend of mine, Wade Patterson from the Steam It days. If you guys know what Steam It is,
OG,
and you guys
old school,
recognize the channel Heidi Travels, you guys know what's up. So anyway, I did an interview with them, and yeah, like I was talking to them how it seems like the mainstream media is just all about the negativity of FTX and how crypto is dead, and it's all the negativity and like, trying to really persuade people to be afraid of cryptocurrency again, right? And this is definitely a reflection of the fact that we're married. Toby and I are married and we are into crypto. And so that is our world, basically. We don't get a lot of outside perspectives from like the non-crypto world. That's just a fact of life for us. And they were saying how, actually, like I was talking to my friends who aren't into crypto and like they have no idea what FTX is or anything that's happening. So that's refreshing to know that there is an outside world that still doesn't know about crypto.
I mean, people like, I know a lot of you will not believe me about this, but within 5 months, nobody's going to care about this.
Yeah, for sure.
Nobody's going to care. Yeah, a lot of people lost money, but move on, because that's what happened in June. This June, 5.5 months ago. And people completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
How did they forget about that so fast?
Yeah.
People have amnesia.
And to think, okay, well, people aren't going to be trusting in crypto anymore.
Right.
Here's the ugly truth about cryptocurrencies and how it is so popular is because of the profits that you can make in cryptocurrencies. There's greed, and that is like probably one of the most behind fear. Greed is like the most motivating emotion that someone can have. And that's why we get these huge run-ups in price during a bull market, is because people are freaking out and they think they can make more money. So they keep buying it and they think it's going to go up forever. So, that's why, like, I know crypto isn't going anywhere because number one, what you just said about the savings in the US just getting annihilated. People are always, and especially now as inflation is going crazy, as people are distrusting what's happening with their central bankers. Hopefully people are waking up to that. They're going to look for alternative options, and crypto is always going to be there. Furthermore, once CBDCs roll out, which by the way, it's not a coincidence that all of this is happening at the same time that the Fed and Wall Street are trying to roll out the digital dollar or a 12-week pilot of it. That is not a coincidence. And once you're using a CBDC and all these people who are like, oh, crypto's dead, yada, yada. Oh, I knew it was a scam. It's a big Ponzi scheme. When they're using their CBDC and then all of a sudden they did something wrong and they can't spend their money at all, or for whatever reason, the government has decided that they have to spend their money this way, not that way, they're going to want an actual tool of value transfer that they can use freely. And cryptocurrency is that. So they're going to come around sooner rather than later.
So that's kind of like what, what I've talked about before is that people are getting used to stable coins and things like that. So they're getting used to being able to transfer in and out and send money to whoever they want anytime, like even a Saturday or a Sunday, which banks are closed, by the way. You can't send any money. You can't wire transfer money during those days. And it costs a ton of money as well. Oh, you can send $100 billion of Bitcoin for what, a couple pennies or a couple dollars, whatever. So yeah, there's literally no competition. But as far as CBDCs are concerned, yes, that is one thing you have to watch out for, because banks and governments will try to trick people and say, hey, you know what? This is way better. This is safer. We're not going to have any rug pulls. There's no scams here. This is, what you get is what you see, and your money's always going to be in your bank. But what they don't tell you is, yeah, there's expiration dates on these currencies that China is testing out, to where if they need to boost the economy, they go, okay, well, you need to spend this currency within a week or a month or something like that. And then if you don't, it's deemed worthless. So there's no savings, you know what I mean? And also, you say something bad on the internet, well, sorry, you're gonna get deducted money out of your account, which central banks have full control over, and you have zero control over, and there's zero transparency, because central banks are using Ripple. They're going to be using parts of Ripple. They're going to be using parts of Ethereum. They're going to be using parts of Quant and all these different coins. And then they're going to create their own closed source blockchain, which you can't view.
No way. Why would they allow that?
But they can do it. It's for your
best interest.
Because you're not part of the big club, as George Carlin used to say.
They'll take care of it, and you can just trust them.
Anyways. I've done a lot of research on this stuff, and yeah.
Sorry.
What?
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine. Go for it.
I just do want to give a shout out to Toby. I know you've seen this face a lot the past 2 weeks, but he's been behind the scenes helping me a ton on researching and finding the topics to talk about in the videos. So if you guys think we've been on point with the news that we've been reporting on and maybe the direction that we're taking the channel in the past few weeks, Toby is a big player in that. So thank you, Toby.
You're very welcome.
And you guys think Toby too.
I'm a big geek, and I study lots of this stuff.
He's on Twitter
all day long.
He's a Twitter guy.
Yeah.
And so
you want to follow Heidi on Twitter?
Yeah.
At Blockchain Chick, and me, Sir Crypto
name.
Tips.
Yeah, we're there.
We started at Blockchain Chick like
before Steam It.
A long time ago. So don't blame us on the name.
Yeah. Okay. Now, for those of you who need a little pick me up, and you feel like it's been a while since you've seen any kind of a Bitcoin prediction, Tim Draper, he's always good for the moonshot, like he thinks Bitcoin could hit $250,000 by the first quarter of 2023.
So what you usually do with this guy is you usually have it and then divide it by like 3. Is that like?
Yeah, or just, toss it out the window. But for those of you who need a little dose of hopium, I think one day Bitcoin will hit that price. I don't think it's going to happen in the first quarter of 2023.
I'll take the other end of this. Okay,
yeah.
So
Ooh.
Bitcoin is not the next bull market is not delayed by this. I'm just saying this right now. It's not delayed. It's going to be right on point, whether this stuff happened or not. It's just going to be starting at a lower point. That's all. So, that's why I'm very interested in buying at these prices and lower. I'm not going to squander this opportunity and just hope that it keeps going, dropping. Listen, the worst is over. The worst is over. That's it. The worst is over. So if you know that the worst is over, we dropped from 69,000 to where 15,500. Like that's a huge drop. If you think it's going to drop another 70 or 80%, then that's your deal. I don't know what to tell you, but it's not going to drop that much. I'm just calling it right now.
CDC thank you for your super chat, by the way. They say, what is your take on how CBDCs will affect cryptocurrencies? What happens if the government rolls out CBDCs in the next big crash, and more?
Oh, want me to take this one?
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
So like I've been saying for years now, there's going to be two roads, right, that people are going to take. Most people are going to take the centralized route. They're going to trust their government. They're going to say, Daddy, government, please help me. I'm going to try to vote my best and please, guide this country in the right way and guide me in the right way. And some people like us are going to go, hell no, I don't want anything to do with this part. I'm going to go this way and use have decentralized in my life. I'm going to put my currencies on a hardware wallet, and I'm going to keep that seed phrase safe. And I'm not going to trust central authorities like Binance or whoever else are going to be the major players in this thing. And later on, when they do present their central bank digital currency, I think what's going to happen, this is my opinion, is that I see a lot of people being used to trading back and forth with what do you call it? With stable coins and different currencies like that. So they're used to trading back and forth to whoever they want. Whereas central bank digital currencies, they're going to put you in a little box. And the people that learned about this beforehand aren't going to have anything to do with it. Maybe they're forced to use it, but whatever, they're at least going to have a second way to do things. They're going to be a little more anti-fragile than just trusting their government. So, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think, not to inspire too much fear or anything, and I think that governments that are going to roll out CBDCs, which I think eventually will be all of them, they're going to have to be careful finding a balance between overreaching their power, which they love to do, and getting people used to the idea of them having more control over their lives. So the thought of, I know there's a big fear is like, well, when CBDCs roll out, we won't be able to buy crypto, which I think is probably going to be the case to some extent in the future. But I think that's going to be something that they're going to be rolling out slowly, because if you go from right now, your everyday, you can spend your money however you want, to instantly you can't buy that at all, that's going to cause a lot of capital flight out of that currency into cryptocurrencies. And that's the opposite of what a government wants. They want to value, they want to trap you, right? So
exactly. So, yeah. But a lot of people are going to go along with it. I think what's going to happen is it's going to roll out slowly, like a boiling frog, right? So most people aren't even going to realize that, oh, wait, now we have to use CBDCs. Okay, cool. And they'll be fine with it. But keep in mind, it's going to be a slow process, but eventually it's going to get tighter and tighter restrictions. Like the airport. Just go to the airport, 20 years ago. Pretty chill, nothing much. Now it's like so stressful, and they're putting you through naked body scanners. Fun times. Anyways, you should collab with Ryan Mattis, Speaking Truth.
Thank you for the super chat,
heard
Craig.
that. But we'll
check him out.
One person that we would like to talk to. Should we say?
We don't know. It hasn't been scheduled
yet. Okay. So
I'm not going to announce anything.
We're going to announce anything, but we have a special guest we're trying to get on right now.
If you guys watched our live stream the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, you might know who we're talking about.
Yes, they want to see bugs too. That's great. So if you don't know this channel, so I'm pretty much.
Sometimes I accidentally inhale a fly or something. It's a pretty unpleasant experience.
Exactly. Come on, Heidi. Jeez. So I'm
that's as close as I'm getting.
I'm the economic side, and Heidi is more the in-depth crypto type person. Definitely not a comedian. So, yeah.
Sorry, guys.
We are done.
We are done. It's been 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Gary Gensler, I think his the SBF's somebody.
Oh yeah, SBF's girlfriend's dad's boss, or something like that.
Yeah. Regulations. There you go. It's all one big thing. You know what? I think that Wall Street's loving this. drop right now and loving this drama and watching people lose all their life savings, and they're going to be able to pick up cheaper Bitcoin and be able to own part of this ecosystem, a large part in my opinion. And then they're going to come out with their CBDCs. So there's two things with this, which is unfortunate, but yeah, that's they're pretty ruthless. And the reason how you can tell that Wall Street is way behind this is totally behind this is because SBF is not in jail right now. Think about that. Yeah. They arrested a Tornado Cash developer guy that was trying to help people in crappy countries to get money out and to help them out. But he's in jail, but SBF is still just running around the Bahamas living the life. Nice.
Yeah.
That's who the club is, and that's who you'll be inviting if you want regulations in this space. And you know what regulations are going to do in this space? It's going to make the barrier of entry so high that you will not be able to participate in the most amazing monetary experience. You're going to be like, oh, look at how profitable
that guy is.
Exactly.
I'm really happy for him.
So with that said, stay disobedient. And
Thank you for tuning in. Live streams every week, Monday, noon Eastern time, just like today. So we'll see you again next week. We put out videos every single day in the meantime. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, we appreciate it if you do, and hit likes on our videos and share them out so other people can learn too, get different perspectives on what's happening in crypto space.
Lastly, somebody asked me about Solana and what I think about like the price or whatever.
Classic. One more.
I mean, Solana has taken a really big hit, but there's still a lot of people developing on Solana, and the devs are continuing to build. And yes, they don't have as much money as they used to, but it's still a project that's working. So people. Heidi says, well, they shut down their blockchain.
Well,
Heidi and I have different views on this.
But now their ties to FTT and FTX is scary.
Yes. Oh, who is the hacker?
Yeah. Well, it's not the Bahamian government.
Yes, it is not the Bahamian government. So it is hacker
it's the wallet
0x
address. 359 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But we don't know exactly who it is.
Not
but
yet.
It is not the Bahamian government.
Probably no one's going to be like, hey, it was me. Actually, haha, I was a hacker. Unless they get a good, solid investigation going. But even then, I highly doubt that he's going to be identified.
And I don't think it is FTX either, even though I had my suspicions. But we don't know 100% yet. Anyways, bye, guys. Thank you for coming on.
Bye, guys.